Well, hi, we're going to do the second installment on information about buying a house in Florida. Where your house is located, that's going to be something you are going to want to determine. Do you want to be in the northern panhandle? Do you want to be in the more westerly area? Or do you want to be central or southern? You know, there's a lot of choices. And let me tell you, the demographics is different in each area. And you can check the demographics by going online and just typing in demographics or city data, things like that. And you can type in any city, any county, and find out information about these different areas. It tells you things, very important things that you may want to know. Like crime rate, in that area, what is the crime rate? Whether hurricanes or floods, or what the height, the elevation is in that area. You got to determine whether you want to be in a city or the country. If you go to the city, your taxes are going to be a little higher. If you're out in the country, it's probably lower, but then you have people that don't like to come out to the country and give you services and things. And we found it's a little more expensive, or they're hesitant, or they don't even want to do the job. We had many times where we had people give us the "I don't want to do the job" bid, and way high from what was normal. And again, a realtor comes in hugely important in this area. They know information firsthand. There were times where we would ask about a certain area and our realtor would say, well, there's a paper mill that's close by, and when the wind shifts, you get that smell. So if you don't really like that smell, then you might want to avoid that area. Good thing to know. I didn't even know Florida had paper mills, but apparently they do. And we have been in certain areas where actually we have smelled that. And it's a particular odor. And if you don't like it, or if you're not particular to odors, then you might want to choose a different area. And again, check with your realtor on that. The old choice of whether to travel back and forth. I mean, we live northern Wisconsin, and people said, well, why don't you just travel down there in the summer and then come back in the winter? Because it gets really hot down there in the summer. Well, we know that. And the issue was finances. You have to close up your house in the north and have somebody watch it through the winter, because, if a pipe does break or if something happens to it, you don't want something, going crazy and come back to a wrecked house. So we decided that we would just sell and relocate and live down in Florida permanently. Now, the advantage to that is that you get a homestead credit if you live in the house. And homestead credit is anywhere, I believe, like $25,000 to $50,000 right off the top of your assessed value. So that's a good tax savings. And again, as you look at homes, you can find out what the tax rate is, how much they pay. If again, I said, if you're in the city, it's going to be higher. In the country, will be lower. Now, as far as north and south, south is hotter in the summer. North has cooler weather. Like in the north here where we live now, we've gone through most of the winter now, and it did get in the lower 20s, and at one point I think it got to 18 degrees, which is bad in these areas because they don't bury their pipes like we did in the north, like 4 feet deep. These pipes here you're lucky if they're a foot deep, and a lot of pipes are exposed, like for faucets and different things. So you can have pipe freezing, which we did. We had a pipe freeze and bust. So I replaced the pipes with PEX. Now, and I'll talk about the different pipes and things later on in another session. But you got to be aware of that, and you got to also have the resources either to fix it yourself or to have someone that you can call to come out and fix it for you. The best thing is, if you're going to live in the country, you should be a little handy. You should know a little bit about what to do and how to do it, so that you can do a lot of that work yourself. Demographics, we'll go into that real quickly. Again, you can check whether it's a liberal area or conservative. If you're conservative, you kind of don't want to live in a liberal area, because you're just going to butt heads with your neighbors and with whoever else you might talk to. We happen to live in a conservative area. We are conservative, so when we talk to people, they're very solid as far as the way we think, and so we don't have a lot of issue with that, and we get along with our neighbors and everybody around us. You need to check with your county also. When you can go into the county clerk's office, tax assessor, whoever, and you can talk with them about different things. We talked about different tax savings, being seniors, income levels, if you could have an agricultural zone, or if you can have some other tax savings. So you can check with the county and with your neighbors and other people and find out information from them about doing different things. Like for us, we want to raise chickens, and so there are certain laws about raising chickens, and so you got to be aware of those things, otherwise you get yourself into trouble. Again, a realtor is a huge source for that. One of the great things about Florida is, if you're over 65, you get a free hunting and fishing license. Now you can go online to the website that they have, and you can apply for it, and it's free, and they send you a card. I think if you want a card, you pay $5, but it's lifetime fishing and hunting license. And so there's a lot of different laws concerning hunting and fishing in Florida. If you use a cane pole, I think it's free no matter what. You can hunt a lot of things on your own property without a license, things like that. So there's some very interesting laws in Florida that are different from other areas. Another thing you want to answer, whether you want to live in the city, country, village, or condos, or a retirement community. There's a lot of those around too, and they're probably newer houses, and you won't have as much trouble with those houses than you will if you buy separately and on your own. But I'm going to get into some of the things that we learned when we bought our house, having it inspected, and what you should plan for when you buy a house, because there are expenses and you need to be prepared for those expenses. I know we prepared, but it wasn't near enough, and I'll share some of that with you in the next session here. So, all right.